Hi, I'm Brad Edwards. Thanks for streaming with us here on CBS News Chicago. The holiday weekend, Labor Day weekend, is upon us, and many millions will be hitting the road to destinations unknown, hopefully by water. Hopefully it will be sunny. Big question now, what's it going to cost to fill up the tank, and what's the near future and maybe far future? What does it hold? For that, we bring in friend of the stream, GasBuddy's Patrick DeHaan. Patrick, you are the gas man. What's going on here in Greater Chicago now, and how do you see it playing out, at least through the next week or so, as people hit the road?
Well, Brad, we did see a little bit of an increase here over the last week. Of course, many of us heard about BP's refinery, which had an electrical fire last week. They are in the process of restarting that refinery. So some areas may have seen minor price increases, but as they work to get the refinery back online, prices should start to moderate through the Labor Day weekend. Gas prices in Chicago down to about $4.54 on average. It's about a 6-cent drop from a week ago, but some areas in the suburbs did see prices go up. Having said that, I think prices will continue moderating through the Labor Day holiday. Prices now almost $1.50 a gallon less than where prices were in mid-June. So finally some relief as we say farewell to summer over the Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, no question about that. When we really hit that peak and hit it pretty hard, and it really, I mean, it wasn't good for anybody unless you own a ton of gas sector stocks. Do we expect that all those events to combine again to hit a number like that in any time soon, considering how jittery the economy is?
I'm hopeful not. In fact, much of the reason that we've seen the big decline in gas prices over the last 11 weeks is really focused on concerns over the broader economy. The Federal Reserve raising interest rates fairly aggressively is likely to induce an economic slowdown, which could cause global demand to slow down. Many central banks globally are raising interest rates, and keep in mind, China continues to struggle with COVID, shutting down big portions of its economy, limiting oil consumption. And that's why oil prices and gasoline prices have remained under pressure. Now, keep in mind, too, gas prices generally fall in the fall because demand goes down, road trips are wrapping up, schools are reopened, and those long road trips, well, we're just on the cusp of seeing the end of summer. And so we do see demand go down, and prices should continue falling into the fall.
All right. Always appreciate that. And then also, you're the king you're the gas man. Tell us when we now change over to the winter mix, right? That happens when, and how should that affect prices here in the Greater Chicago area?
Well, as a result of that BP refinery issue last week, the EPA actually waived that requirement now. So in some instances, stations can start selling winter gasoline now instead of normally. That happens on September 16th. But with it, when we do kind of start to see that winter gasoline spread through the region, it should bring some nice cost savings, a potential 25 to 35 cent a gallon drop. So that's the good news, is that with the switch over back to winter gasoline, with it, more price declines, and you're going to see more of those sub $4 prices. In fact, some areas, Brad, not Chicago, but head south, you're going to see more stations selling at $2.99 a gallon or less in the weeks ahead. So what that means for Chicago is prices falling into maybe the mid threes and maybe even the low threes downstate in Illinois. That
is something else. So as we look into October, November, is there anything, you're the Merlin of gas, what do we have to look for that could potentially throw a wrench in things? We always know, the refinery issues, so on and so forth, global economic issues like you talk about, COVID shutting down major swaths of China. Any other things we need to keep an eye on when we are thinking about filling up over the next few months?
Well, absolutely, Brad. I think as we hit the road for Labor Day weekend, we're also coming into the prime of hurricane season. There are some areas of interest out in the Atlantic now. We do have a newly named tropical storm. If a hurricane or storm heads for the Gulf of Mexico, if it's a large storm, that could imperil the industry, and it could shut down oil production. It could shut down refineries. So hurricane season, the peak really lasts for the next 2 to 3 weeks. That's really, I think, the biggest wild card that could cause prices to go higher temporarily. But once we get outside of October into November, the risk of a hurricane drops dramatically. And I'm hopeful that by the end of the year, Chicago's average should be back under the $4 a gallon mark.
All right, Patrick DeHaan, we always appreciate your insight, a friend of the stream. Hope you have a fantastic weekend, my friend. You certainly deserve some time off. Don't know if you'll get it, but if you don't, at least hopefully you get some sunshine. We appreciate Patrick DeHaan again from GasBuddy. Hurricanes, who else knows what could affect gas prices? Patrick will be joining us in the coming weeks as things continue to fluctuate, as the economics continue to kind of play the market, and but it sounds good for Labor Day weekend, and that is a good thing to hear, especially for the many of you who plan to hit the road this weekend. If you do, we here at the stream wish you safe travels. I'm Brad Edwards. Now back to the stream.